Hello and a very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching India's World with your host, Kriti Mishra. The leaders of the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue, or Quad, are set to hold their first summit in the virtual format this month, with the US administration taking the initiative to set up the meeting. The US had also taken the lead in organizing the third meeting of the foreign ministers of the Quad on February 18th. That meeting had reiterated the group's commitment to a rules-based world order underpinned by respect for territorial integrity and sovereignty. Quadrilateral Security Dialogue is a strategic dialogue between four countries: India, United States, Japan, and Australia. And for deeper analysis, I'm joined by Vice Admiral Satish Soni, retired, former Commander-in-Chief, Southern and Eastern Command, and Mr. Anil Wadhwa, former Ambassador. Welcome to Asabha Television, both of you. Admiral Soni, coming to you first. A summit of Quad leaders, the first of its kind, could be held. What will it mean for the four countries and specifically for India?
Well, I think this is something which was in the making. In the last 4 years, we have seen a quantum jump in the cooperation between the two countries. Initially, we had a dialogue on the side level, and then we had the foreign ministers meeting, and then we had a meeting in person, and now we have a summit. So it's an extremely important development, and it sends somewhat a signal that these four countries want to join hands together, and in matters ranging from security to addressing non-traditional challenges to ensuring rule of the law. And I think it also sends a message that we have a belligerent China, and countries in the region, are looking up to these four countries joining hands to somewhat counter it diplomatically to begin with. So I think it means a lot. It happens. We could see a summit in person, which would become even more important. These four countries are the main countries in the Indo-Pacific, and they occupy the pole positions. They are very dominant. Their maritime forces are very dominant in their own regional zones, and they have considerable influence amongst the countries in their sub-regions. So I think it's an extremely important development overall.
All right, it is an extremely important development. Ambassador Wadhwa, it is said that first virtual Quad summit will become feature of Indo-Pacific engagement. Your thoughts, sir?
I think, as Admiral Soni mentioned, we've seen a steady progression in terms of the meetings of the Quad, starting off at the working group level and then elevation to the foreign ministers level, and now a summit. Quite naturally, the agenda has also expanded. As we've seen the belligerence of China increase, and at the same time, new challenges which have come up due to the Chinese actions in the South China Sea, on the borders with India, with the expansion of Chinese forces in the Indian Ocean, and also generally the disputes which have arisen between China and Japan, China and countries in Southeast Asia, and the trade war with Australia. So overall, there is a threatening posture which the countries of the Quad obviously would not like to see in the region, in the interests of peace and stability. And obviously, the four countries would like to meet regularly to see how they can meet this challenge of a rising China and a belligerent China. We will see, obviously, much more being discussed than just the security issue. And obviously, the progress has been made in terms of maritime security cooperation, for instance, making sure that we have resilient supply chains, a danger which was enhanced during the days of the pandemic and thereafter. And how do we fight together in the aftermath of the COVID fallout and rebuild the economies of these countries as well as of the region? Now, obviously, connectivity has also arisen as a major issue because of the Chinese policies of the Belt and Road Initiative. And the four countries would be looking to an alternative which could arise to meet this challenge so that other countries of the region have an alternative to look forward to. So essentially, it's a full agenda now for the Quad, and the fact that it's been elevated to the summit level means that obviously we will have working level meetings to follow in preparation for future meetings, and at the same time, the working groups which will be set up to look at these specific issues which have arisen during this period.
All right, sir, you're making a very important point there, and let me take that to Admiral Soni. Admiral Soni, there are concerns over China's expansionist strategies. How should India cope with it in cooperation with the US and other Quad partners?
You see, India has to cooperate on many levels. We have to cooperate diplomatically, we have to cooperate economically, and we also have to cooperate in the military sphere. We must be able to have our maritime forces working together. We must be able to have a supply chain management which all countries can benefit from. And we have to join hands diplomatically on almost every issue so that we are able to counter the aggressive attitude of the Chinese. And I would say that today, India is very well poised to contribute in a very handsome manner. We have a very strong navy which has got long legs. It's a blue water navy, and we are a big market economically. So, and diplomatically, we carry a lot of weight on the high table. So, I think in all these spheres, we should be able to contribute to the might of the other four countries. And if the Quad becomes Quad Plus tomorrow, we will be able to contribute in that manner.
Ambassador Vatwa, do you agree?
I would agree, with Admiral Soni there, because I think there's, as I said earlier, there's a natural progression of the Quad, and the agenda has expanded, taking into account the fact that there is an aggressive China on the doorstep of almost all the countries. First of all, the Quad, and then the others in Southeast Asia. They all feel a presence and a heat, which needs to be countered in the interests of free and open Indo-Pacific. Which was the stated purpose at the last foreign ministers meeting, which you also mentioned. I think the stated purpose is quite clear that we have to respect everybody's territorial integrity and sovereignty, and we have to comply with the rule of law in the region. And then there has to be a greater transparency which has to be brought about in these dealings. And again, there should be peaceful settlement of disputes, which is not the case with Chinese actions. And the Quad countries, by coming together and deliberating on what should be done possibly together in the future to counter this trend that the Chinese are showing, obviously very clear in what they want. They do not want confrontation, but at the same time, they want to make sure that the Chinese behavior is curbed and that it goes in a direction which is good for peace and stability in the region. In other words, to settle these disputes peacefully and not resort to aggressive means.
Also, sir, I'm reminded of the fact that Prime Minister Narendra Modi and US President Joe Biden, during a phone conversation earlier, agreed to continue close cooperation to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific region, including support for freedom of navigation and a stronger regional architecture through the Quad. What are the opportunities for India under the Quad arrangement, assessing the trajectory of India-US ties under President Biden? Ambassador Vatwa?
Look, as far as the Biden administration is concerned, it's more of a continuity of the previous administration without actually being disruptive. In fact, the Biden administration is going about its task of making sure that the Indo-Pacific remains in focus, is doing so in cooperation with other countries, taking them along and making sure that there is a collective action and a collective view on the issues which face the region. And obviously, the Quad countries are very important in this respect, given their dominance in the region economically, militarily, as well as their linkages with the Southeast Asian countries and the ASEAN. And if you notice that the Quad has always taken ASEAN centrality into account while talking about its own cooperation, to take them along and to make sure that everybody is together in this action that they're taking. So that's the central point of the Biden administration. And in my view, is the correct approach to take in the future and to make sure that everybody benefits through this cooperation. As we go along, the Quad, as the Prime Minister of Australia, Morrison, has said recently, will become central to this effort in the Indo-Pacific, and other countries would join this effort. Already we've seen not just ASEAN, but also the grouping of Quad Plus, which came together in terms of the COVID vaccine and distribution. And then we've also seen that some European countries have also come out with their own Indo-Pacific strategy, which is generally keeping in line with what the Quad thinking is and what the thinking of the ASEAN countries is.
All right, sir, you talked about Quad Plus. Admiral Soni, what is the prospect, according to you, of Quad gradually turning into Quad Plus?
I think it is extremely important that Quad turns into Quad Plus. And this is only going to be possible if these four countries are able to improve their economic linkages with the smaller countries. You see, the smaller countries, especially the island countries, they are very keen to increase their connectivity, to increase their capability to exploit the benefit of the blue economy, carry out sustainable development, modernize their ports. And China is exploiting that requirement, to the hilt. They are giving easy loans, they are providing expertise. So if we want, to graduate from Quad to Quad Plus and have more people who sympathize with the cause and who understand what China is doing, we must be able to meet their needs of maritime security and exploitation of their own oceans. More importantly, securing their oceans from being exploited by other countries. Today, these countries face non-traditional challenges which are extremely important for them. Whether it is illegal, unregulated fishing which goes on in their waters and their inability to put that to stop, or it is human trafficking. Every day you hear about, boats of refugees going from one country to the other, and whether it is exploitation of their exclusive economic zones. So these countries are more keen on that than anything else. And if we are not able to fill the void, then China certainly will. And that is exactly what is happening, as we have seen, many of these small countries landing in debt traps. So if the Quad wants to graduate onto Quad Plus, I think we must address the problems of these smaller countries on an urgent basis, especially with regard to economic and hinterland development.
Ambassador Wadhwa, you were talking about the post-pandemic order. In the post-COVID-19 international order, how will Quad leaders ensure a coordinated response to the various challenges emerging from the pandemic?
I think the challenges have actually got exacerbated post the pandemic. Again, because of the Chinese economic development, which has continued as before, almost as before, with high growth rate despite the pandemic. The recovery has been rather fast in that economy. And the Belt and Road Initiative proposals have continued during this period as well. China has also used its linkages with some of the ASEAN countries to block criticism during this period. And at the same time, it has constantly been opposing countries of the Quad from coming together because it knows that a united front against its policies will be very difficult to oppose. And therefore, we can see a further escalation of these policies in the future. having occupied a number of islands in the South China Sea, which are actually disputed, and also changed the demography and the nature of these islands by actually militarizing them and populating them. China is extending its territory in an illegal manner, in others' point of view. And this has now being challenged in the region. Secondly, it's a question of cornering of resources, which, as Admiral Soni pointed out, a number of smaller Pacific islands island states face at the moment, and this exploitation of resources by China has also continued during this period. Third is the issue of free and open Indo-Pacific. That means freedom of navigation in the high seas, which is threatened by Chinese actions by declaring this whole territory as Chinese territory, a large, territory in the South China Sea, which is based on spurious facts, on disputes, and it is not something which is acceptable to the countries of the region. And fourth is the question of connectivity projects, which the others are trying to counter by working out and pooling resources together. Basically, the Quad countries coming together. We've already seen an initiative like the Blue Dot initiative in the region between the United States, Australia, and Japan. India has been invited to join that, and it is exploring whether India could also join this network and also pool its development resources with the other countries so that it offers an alternative to the Chinese BRI in order that the Chinese influence in the region is countered. So all in all, I would think that this policy would continue as far as the Chinese are concerned. There's been a new law which has gone into force recently, where the Chinese Coast Guard can actually fire on the navies of other countries, which to ward off what it considers as its own territory, which, as I pointed out, is based on illegal facts. And so we are going to see a much more of a resistance, which will be offered by the other countries. And this summit, which is happening, let's put it in that context, would be
Yes.
a very important summit to make sure that going forward, there are enough policies and coordination put in place so that this challenge does not go forward, and that the other countries are able to resist this pressure.
But, sir, we are talking about coordination, we are talking about the possibilities. But despite the potential for cooperation, it is said that Quad needs a more defined strategic mission, as the focus on the Indo Pacific makes the Quad a maritime centric grouping. Admiral Soni, would you agree?
The summit is an extremely important occasion to send a message, but at the same time, we should be able to exhibit resolve on the maritime sphere. If the Quad countries want to be of some effect, I think we must be able to act with resolve, whether it is diplomatically or it is economically or it is militarily. We have seen in the past how China's creeping influence, island by island in the South China Sea, we have seen the action in Ladakh. We have seen how they have reacted to Australia, to South Korea, to Malaysia, to Vietnam, to Japan, when it comes to imposing punishment in the economic sphere. So, I think the Quad countries must resolve to be able to act in a similar manner unless we draw red lines beyond which we shall not expect any more incursions from China. I am afraid, these platforms may not serve the purpose. So, whilst it is an extremely important step that has been taken to send a message to China that these four countries stand together. It is an extremely important message which has been sent to all the littoral countries of the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean region that we stand together. The democracies in the region stand together for them. And, they could easily bank on us. But I think when the time comes, We must be able to stand for these countries. We have had experiences in the past, whether it is the Mischief Reef or it is the Scarborough Shoal, and now there are new flashpoints which are developing. The Pratas Island, which is next to Taiwan, Scarborough Shoal remains an important flashpoint, and if that red line is crossed, I am sure the leaders will discuss as to what must be done.
All right, Ambassador Wadhwa, do you see a more defined strategic mission as the focus?
Well, certainly, as at the now that the leaders are meeting at the summit level, obviously there'll be a sharper focus as far as coordination is concerned in this grouping of the Quad. Um, I have, however, my reservations on the fact that the Quad can easily turn into a sort of military coordinating alliance, because let's face it, there are three countries in this Quad grouping which are military allies, but India is not. And therefore, obviously, India would like to stay away from taking that additional step, which, given the fact that we are also in a different situation as far as China is concerned, with a live and unresolved border, we have different realities to face. Of course, India would not like the Chinese policies of aggression to continue in the South China Sea as well as in the Indian Ocean. But India would like to like to see that the Quad grouping takes a direction where the emphasis is more on coordinating its economic policies, its connectivity projects, and at the same time making sure that there is freedom of navigation which is maintained, which is obviously being met to a certain extent right now due to the signaling, as Admiral Soni mentioned. But how far the Quad will go in terms of a strategic military grouping remains to be seen. I guess that stage has not yet been reached, but the first stage
Yes.
of coordination in terms of interoperability is continuing because of the joint exercises that have happened. We can expect more of those to continue in the future, and to make sure that the navies, the four navies, act in coordination, if at all, to signal to China that there is an opposition to these unbridled, aggressive policies of China in the South China Sea and in the Indian and Pacific Oceans.
All right, those are important points that you're making, sir. But before we end this conversation, closing comments from both my guests. Ambassador Wadhwa, India's role in the rapidly changing geopolitical environment ahead, sir.
India has to play a very important role in the changing geopolitical environment. It is seen as a country which is one which can bring about stability and peace in the region. It has already proven that it is the pharmacy of the world, and
Yes.
you've seen how India is laying stress on multilateral action rather than unilateral action, and making sure that all countries adhere to the rule of law. Looking at it from that perspective, the role that India plays, and especially given the fact that it is a non-permanent member in the UN Security Council for the next 2 years, its role is going to be extremely important, is going to be looked at with great interest by countries all over the world. And I'm sure the way India conducts itself in the next 2 years will also stand it in good stead when it comes to its quest for a permanent membership of the expanded UN Security Council. And we will certainly make sure that the emphasis remains on multilateral coordinated action and making sure that the rule of law prevails throughout the world.
Right, sir. Admiral Soni, closing comments from you.
In conclusion, that it's extremely important for India to look at the Indian Ocean first, to look at the countries in the region, to make sure that we remain the preferred security partner and meet the needs of smaller countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Maldives, Mauritius, Seychelles, etc. I think these are extremely important to us, and we must make sure that we are able to meet their needs so that they are not attracted by the easy availability of Chinese money, and they don't fall into the debt traps which have been which some of them have done earlier. And we can also expect the Chinese Navy, as they become more relevant in the Indian Ocean, they can be in collusion with the Pak Navy, and that is not going to be very nice for us in the maritime zone.
All right, so all eyes will be on that important Quad summit. On that note, thank you so much for joining us. So that's all we have for you in this edition of India's World. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.